Hey YouTube, welcome again to Guitar Vocalist, the channel that's all about becoming good at guitar, vocals, performing. If you struggle at just guitar or struggle at just vocals, maybe bringing one to the level of the other, that's what this channel is all about. Now this video is going to be a little bit more of a rant than my other videos, but I think that this is a concept that many people out there need to hear. I want to just share something about my kind of personal story, where I came from in terms of music, and maybe a lot of you can relate to this. So in my experience, there's two kinds of people. There's people that can sing, like singing, got into music for singing, and then realized they want to add some guitar. And then there's people that are the opposite, like me, where they started out as guitarist and then realized, oh, I'd really like to sing. Now the problem for me was I really felt personally like my voice sucks. I don't know why. I mean, growing up, I also thought, I don't sound like a man, blah, blah, blah. I was like 14, my voice was going through changes. So I don't know, kids in the playground, and you kind of get made fun of, and you just sort of think, okay, well, yeah, my voice sucks. I don't ever want to put myself out there and sing. That's way too personal. Obviously, I didn't think of it like that in my head at the time, but that is really kind of how it ended up going through my head, reflecting back on it now. This is a very big limiting factor for many singers, and it's a problem. The problem with singing, unlike many other instruments, is that your voice quality can actually suffer quite a bit if you're nervous. With guitar, if you're nervous, it might look like you're nervous, you might mess up a few things, but the quality of your voice tone doesn't actually change. And that's the same with most instruments, right? It doesn't change, but with your voice, it does. You're gonna mess up, you won't breathe correctly, you won't stand up straight with a nice posture, you're gonna feel small, you may get distracted and go off pitch because you didn't have enough breath support or whatever, and then that in turn is going to make you sound even worse. And none of these are problems that you would have with a guitar or any other instrument. So let's talk about how to fix this whole mindset. The answer, of course, is quite simple, like most answers in life. And here's the single bottom truth. Nobody expects you to be good, all right? People are going to think you suck probably, or at least they're not going to think you're good if you've never played before or never sang before. So it doesn't really make sense for you to say to yourself, why don't I just sound good off the bat? You should sound bad. Why would you be good? Singing is a very specific thing that one does that isn't really required for survival or for anything. So it doesn't really make sense why you should sound good. So nobody expects you to be good. Nobody in your family thinks you could be good. Now, people might make fun of you and all that, but you just got to be able to say, I'm new, man. Like, give me a break. I'm sorry. Like, I bet you suck too. What it boils down to is you shouldn't be afraid of your own voice. Because what happens is you always want your voice to sound something like what it's not when you start out. And then what ends up happening is you try and do all these bad habits to change your voice. And then when you change your voice and you're doing these bad habits, you ruin your voice, and then you become what you fear, a bad singer. Obviously, you're not going to go out and perform right away. The only people that are going to hear you at the start is your family or your roommates or someone like that. And if your family or roommates are not giving you an environment that allows you to try and practice, then wow, you really got to work on some relationships with your close ones, because you really need to be able to practice starting out. Like, there's just no way. And if people around you are going to give you trouble, or if you're so concerned about what they think about you, then you really should iron that out as early as possible. What kind of life are you living if the ones closest to you are the kind that will judge you, or the kind that will make it hard for you to do what you love? Get out of that mindset, well, they're going to judge me, they're going to listen to me all the time. No. Let everybody do all kinds of stuff. Let everybody say, haha, you sound silly. Let yourself do the weirdest monkey noises, the lip rolls, and all that stuff they tell you. Let yourself do all those exercises, and just maybe go and tell them, like, I'm going to make some weird noises. Don't worry about what's coming from my room, and just leave it at that. Because it's super dumb for you to limit yourself. And just expect that your voice will just be some random voice you won't like, especially if you've never recorded yourself. I remember when I first recorded myself, I sounded like terrible. I was like, wow, this is what I sound like? I showed my recording to some people and was like, dude, you gotta tell me the truth. Do I sound like this? And I did, and it was just so earth-shattering, because you hear the worst parts in your voice. You really have like a dysmorphia. You know how some people They get a body image dysmorphia, I think it's called, where you think that you're really fat when you're not, or something like that. Well, with your voice, you get this sort of vision where, oh, my voice sounds, if you're a guy, oh, my voice sounds girly, or basically, my voice sounds fluty or breathy, or there's all these preconceived notions like that. Now, when I was younger, I did some embarrassing stuff. I'm gonna try and dig up a sound clip to show you this weird way I made my voice sound when I was playing some metal song.
So soon, as I sit here in my room, as I sit here in my cell.
Just did not sound like a person. It sounded like a growling, I don't know, like some kind of a prepubescent growling bear trying to sing or something. It was just embarrassing looking back on it, and I thought it made me sound gruff and metal and all this stuff, and it did not. And at the end of the day, you just want to learn proper technique with your own crappy voice at first, and then afterwards you'll learn all these tricks on how to make it sound really powerful and gruff, or how to make it sound kind of quiet and emotional, or whatever you need to do. But you just need to learn the proper technique for singing. Another thing that's really common is listening to stuff like, your falsetto, or moving between your voice, where you have a high chest voice and you're going to this voice all the way up here, falsetto, or a head voice, or whatever you want to call it, depending on which vocal discipline you studied. You just have to understand all of that will become usable one day, okay? And you just have to stick to it, and just at the beginning, you're going to sound bad, and don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of the sound of your bad voice, okay? Nobody started out just being good. Let me give you an analogy with somebody working out, right? If you go into the gym and you're some kind of a bodybuilder, nobody expects you to be able to bench a big amount of weight if you've never benched weight before. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Nobody expects you to be able to do 100 push-ups if you've never even tried to do more than 5. So it doesn't make sense for you to think you're going to sound good off the bat. It really doesn't. And you shouldn't be afraid of it. You should make fun of it. You should have fun with your friends. Be like, look at how stupid I sounded in that voice clip. Mom and dad, or my brother or sister, or whoever's in the house with you, like, listen to this stupid sounding clip. Man, I suck. Can't wait to get better. That should be your approach. And I gotta tell you, this held me back a long time. I was always worried about it. I always tried all these little tricks, like how do I EQ my voice to sound really good? How do I, pick the right microphone that will accentuate my voice? And while some of that matters, of course, none of that stuff is going to make up for the fact that you are using wrong technique whenever you sing. You just simply have to learn how to do it correctly. There's just no shortcut, no way around it. And you will have to accept that you suck at first, like at most things. Don't be afraid of it, embrace it, and just sing. I really needed to hear this message. If somebody had said this to me when I was 15, it would have really saved me a lot of vocal trouble. And I just want to say to all of you right now, just embrace your whiny, crappy voice, okay? It will become better over time. Just do all the things, do them right. Focus more on having the technique be right than everything sounding good. Over time, you'll be able to pick out those little moments where you actually sound pretty decent and string them together and have a real good singing voice. All right? It's an illusion if you think that all these people that got up there were just talented. Okay, some people might be, some people might naturally have it a little bit more than others, yes, but you can all learn to do it provided you're a healthy, normal human being. You can all learn to do it. Just learn to accept this mindset where you accept your voice for what it is and you train it, you grow it, and don't be afraid of your own voice. All right, so signing off. Until next time. You got any comments below if you want to share some funny stories like that about how the crazy things you did to try and make your sound be different than what it is because you didn't want to work on your technique or you were afraid of your voice or whatever. Leave the comments down below. And, if you like the content, of course, like and subscribe to the channel. And, until next time.